Welcome and congratulations on joining our Quick Reading program. I am so excited to be your coach. My name is Jim Quick, and over the next few weeks, we are going to go on an adventure together. Are you ready for an adventure? An adventure about mastering your mind. Mastering your mind so you can improve your intellect, your influence, your income, and also your impact. And it's all about downloading decades into days. Now, let me start by asking you a few questions. Are you overloaded with too much to read and too little time? You're like, of course, that's why I'm part of this program, Jim. Do you have books on your shelf that you haven't read yet? And they're like on your shelf, you buy the book with the best intentions. Yeah, I always thought that bookstores should have like shopping carts because that's how many books I buy, right? You go online, you buy all these books, but they sit on your shelf and they become shelf help and not self-help. Are you overloaded with too many emails? Do you get 10, 20, 30, 50 emails and you're drowning information, but you're really starving for wisdom? Do you have challenges? Maybe you read something, you get to the end of a page of a book and you just forget what you just read and you're like so embarrassed, like how can that happen to me? Or maybe reading for you is just fatiguing. Like you read something, you just find you're using it as a sedative, it's putting you to sleep, it's very frustrating, you can't enjoy it. So if any of that rings true for you, this is the program for you. You are in the right place at the right time because my promise for you is this, that I want to make this the most valuable program you've ever gone through, ever, in terms of the return on your peace of mind, in terms of the return on your time, in terms of the return on the rewards. And how do I know this? Is because for over 25 years, I've traveled the globe with like one mission, to help you to unlock your best and brightest brain. Because we know we live in this millennium of the mind, where it's not just your brute strength, you're paid for your brain strength, right? It's not your muscle power, it's your mind power. But your brain doesn't come with an owner's manual. And the thing that we have to do on a regular basis where people report they spend the most time is processing information, right? There's so much information out there and you know, right? Knowledge is power, but I believe that knowledge is not only power, knowledge is profit. And I mean not just financial profit, that's obvious, that the faster you could learn, the faster you could earn, but I mean all the treasures of your life. When you could read a book in 1 or 2 sittings, or you could read maybe a book a week, and you could download all these decades into days, meaning that if an expert has decades of experience and he or she puts it into a book, and you could sit down in a few days and read that book and absorb it, but really not just like read it and speed read it, but really understand it, really retain it, really comprehend it, and ready to apply it, you have such an incredible advantage in today's world. We live in a competitive age where the world is changing, that the half-life of information is getting shorter and shorter, meaning what you learn right now could be outdated in just a couple of years. And the amount of information, it's doubling at dizzying speeds, right? It's multiplying, it's getting faster and faster and faster, but how we read it is the same, right? And so that growing gap creates what? It creates stress for you, right? It creates anxiety, undue stress, undue anxiety. And so our goal for myself and our incredible team is help you to upgrade your skills in this thing called reading, where we're spending 4, 5, 6 hours a day processing blogs and processing books and newspapers and magazines and emails and all this data, right? And so we want to upgrade your skills, and that's what we're going to do. Over the next few weeks, you could expect to triple your reading speed, improve your comprehension, improve your focus, and most of all, improve your enjoyment. I mean, I want you to fall in love with reading. And even if you love reading, I want you to get so skillful at it that you want to do it more, because we know one thing, that leaders are readers. Leaders are readers, right? And so you're going through this program and you're investing your time. And I want to tell you that I will not betray your trust. I'm going to give 1,000% to you over the next few weeks. I'm going to give you the best of what I know to help you with your reading speed, your focus, your comprehension, your retention, your enjoyment. But here's the other part of it, is who else has to give 1,000%? Of course, it's you, right? Because there's no free lunch, because what you put in is what you get out. So I'm going to ask for a commitment from you. And what's that commitment? I'm going to ask you to show up every single day in this program. Show up. And here's what I mean by showing up. I mean logging in, watching our session together, and actually not just showing up, but the second part of it is what? It's playing full out. So what does it mean to play full out? You know exactly what that means. When I talk about play, who are the fastest learners on the planet? They're children. Children learn languages. They learn musical instruments so quickly, right? They have ask a lot of questions. They ask about the clouds and the sky and why is the sky blue and can I eat this cloud? Can I what all this? They have this natural wonder. So they learn really fast. And you're going to learn throughout this series that really one of the keys to comprehension, because I know everyone always wants to know, one of the keys is asking more questions, asking better questions, because ask and you shall what? You shall receive. And so I have a number of questions I want to ask you. Like, who are you? Put your name, where you're from, but one line about what really lights you up. What's your life about? Or maybe you want to describe your career so we can get to know each other. Because here's the thing, you're not alone. That's the best part of this. No matter your age or your background, your career, your level of education, your financial situation, your gender, your personal history, your IQ, none of that matters because we're all the same. Because if you opted in to stand up and say, I want to be a quick reader, I want to be not just a faster reader, but I want to be smarter, faster, thinker. I want to have clarity of thought. I want to have a peace of mind. I don't want to work as hard as everybody else does to be able to get these results. I want to get better results in less time. That we are all kindred minds here. So you're not learning solo, we're learning social. So I'm going to teach you the best of what I know, but also you're going to teach each other. So I want you to introduce yourself to our community here. Share your name, share what you do. It could be your career, what you're passionate about, like 1 or 2 lines. And here's the big thing. I want to know why you joined this program, because you are amazing, because you are here. Just the fact that you're watching this, you're hearing my voice means that you're up to big things, that you're ready for a change. I find that we attract 2 kinds of individuals, either people who are struggling, like maybe that they're falling behind, they want to catch up and they're just like, how do I do that? And they're in a little bit of pain, and so they want to relieve themselves of the pain. They want to have more time, more focus, they want to get more done. Or maybe you're really successful as it is, right? Maybe you're doing really, really well, but you just want that edge. You want that little bit of an advantage. And you know that leaders are readers. You know that in order for your business to grow, in order for your relationships to grow, in order for your health to grow, that who has to grow? That you have to grow. And it all starts where? Right between your ears. This 3-pound gray matter, your supercomputer of a brain, that's where it starts, because it controls everything. And if you want to do amazing things, you got to put amazing things inside your mind. And really, it starts with reading. If there's one superpower to master in the 21st century, it's your ability to learn and read faster. And this is not just a speed reading program. Traditional speeding is more skimming, scanning, getting the gist of what you read, but a lot of you who are watching this, you are a lawyer, you are a doctor, you are an educator, you're a parent, right? You don't want your doctor to get the gist of what she's reading, right? You want to retain this so you can apply it and make big, amazing things happen in your life and in the lives of the people that you care about. So this is really not just about speed reading. Yes, I'm going to give you drills each day to be able to improve your reading speed, but honestly, that's the simple part. Really what this is, in addition to speed, it's about smart reading. Smart reading. So even if you choose not to read faster, I want you to understand what you're reading better. I want you to comprehend what you're reading. I want you to have laser-like focus. I want you to be able to retain what you read, because everyone knows a learning curve, right? There's a learning curve to learn new things, a new subject, a new skill, but there's also a forgetting curve. And a lot of people will read something and after a day or two, what happens? It just disappears out of your mind. So some of you may know at the age of 5, I had learning difficulties, and it was spawned by an accident that I had, a head injury. And it was interesting because I had all these learning challenges. I had really bad focus, I had a very poor memory, but my biggest challenge was reading. It took me an extra 3-4 years just to learn how to read. So my biggest challenge was growing up was actually reading, this thing we're talking about right now. And it's so ironic that I go from being a slow reader to the super reader, if you will, teaching you how to do this. But you remember back in school when you were a child, the teacher asked you to get in circles and they would pass around this book, and every single student would need to read out loud. And this was the most nerve-wracking nightmare when I was a child because I couldn't read. I remember that book getting closer and closer and closer to me, and I would be perspiring, I'd be sweating, I couldn't breathe because I would just look at the book when it was handed to me, and I would look at it and those words didn't mean anything to me, and I would close the book and I would just pass it on. And I think a lot of public speaking fears, like the fear around public speaking, came from this exercise of passing around a book and having to talk out loud about something you're reading. And we're not good at it the first time, right? And we don't want to be judged. And everybody has a fear about not being enough. And so when I passed on that book, not being able to read anything, I felt like I was different. I felt like I was broken. In fact, when I was 9 years old, the teacher labeled me, pointed to me, thinking I wasn't paying attention, talking to another adult, saying, "That's the boy with the broken brain." And so I struggle with this. But how did I come to this place right now where I'm teaching you this? You know, at the age of 18, I was overloaded, overwhelmed, and I ended up in the hospital because I wasn't eating, sleeping. I was just studying all the time, and I ended up just passing out. And I fell down a flight of stairs, hit my head again, and I woke up in the hospital, and I lost all this weight because I wasn't taking care of myself. And you'll learn in this program that self-care is not selfish, that in order to be a good reader, you need to take care of your body. You need to take care of your brain. You need to get good sleep. You need to eat the good foods. You need to reduce your stress. All these lifestyle hacks that will build your better brain, the brain that you desire and the brain that you deserve. But I was struggling, and I ended up in the hospital. It made me think of a new question, like, why is this happening to me? Why am I such a slow reader? And then I asked me a new question. Again, questions are the answer. How do I read better? How can I do this? And I started studying reading, the mechanics of reading. And I noticed that it left off at a point. And that point was when we're back in school, when we first learned how to read. And that's how most people still read to this day, because that's usually the last time they took a class called reading, right? So this program is all about upgrading your skills, because when I started studying these reading mechanics and the psychology of learning, adult learning theory, multiple intelligences, I started to get really good at this, and my grades shot up and my life got better. And here's the thing. I was like so upset because they didn't teach us this back in school. And everything you're gonna learn over the next few weeks, you're gonna be like, "Jim, why wasn't I taught how to do this? I would have been so much further ahead." But now is the best time. They say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. But when's the second best time to plant a tree? Today. And that's what you're doing right now. You're gonna learn that one of the keys to being a really good reader is changing your reading habits. We're going to talk about how to have stellar habits around this thing called reading. But one of the keys to building a habit is understanding your motivation, understanding your motive for taking action. So what's your motivation? Why are you in this course right now? What will you be able to do differently if you could read 3 times faster? How would your life change if you had better focus? And that's when I realized at that moment that if knowledge is power, reading is your superpower. That if knowledge is power, reading and learning, they are your superpowers. But the challenge is nobody showed us how to unleash it until now. And that's why I believe that we connected in this way. That maybe it is not a coincidence. Maybe you're looking for a better way. Maybe you're looking to sharpen your saw. We're going to talk about habits of highly effective people, and one of them is always sharpening their skills, sharpening their abilities, and the abilities that really make the difference. And reading has to be on the top of your list, again, because leaders are what? Leaders are readers. So here's what I want you to do right now. It all starts with your goals and your motivation. Introduce yourself to the rest of our community. Put your name, where you're from, what you do, maybe for a living or in terms of your mission, and because maybe somebody there could benefit from it. Maybe somebody knows something or needs something and could really use what you have to offer. And then finally, why are you here? How can we help you? What motivates you to follow through? And I'll see you in the rest of the course.